to this YouTube video. In this video we're going to look into bug bounty. We're going to see what is bug bounty and how we can get into this amazing opportunity for us to earn from anywhere in the world. I think it's an amazing opportunity that those who love finding bugs or security issues can use such opportunity. So bug bounty, as most of us may know, it's just an activity where we perform finding bugs or security related issues in our website, and we get paid for this. So to start into bug bounty, one, we need the tools, the normal hackers tools, hackers arsenal. These are tools that will help you in making your work easier in finding these security issues in applications. One amazing tool is the BAP suite, which is a web proxy which is mostly used for testing web applications, since it acts as a proxy. And a proxy is is a tool, is an application that will sit between your main application. So this is the browser when you load an application. So the proxy will sit between your application on the browser or the front end and the server or the back end. So the client will be sending requests to the back end, and the proxy is able to see these requests and manipulate them. And that's why these tools, the BAP suite, the ZAP, are the most common tools for web application. With these tools you can start hacking into web applications without the need of maybe other tools, or not necessarily working with other tools. And this is because all you need into hacking web application mostly is to manipulate the web request from the client to the server on the back end. So with these tools, the BAP suite, the ZAP, and the Kaida, you are good to go to get into hacking. And of course you need an operating system where you can start. But because we can't just rely on these tools or hacking just one application at a time, that's why we need some other tools, mostly automation tools that help us make our work easier. One, we have subdomain enumerations. A subdomain, if we have a domain of hackerone.com, a subdomain is anything that comes before the hackerone.com. So you can see we have docs.hackerone, so this is a subdomain, and all these tools will help you is get more subdomains. And the reason we need to get more subdomains is to increase the attack surface area. The more you learn about more assets about the application, the more you get your way in, and the more you have more assets that you can exploit. So you need to dig deep, and that's why you have these tools. You dig deep and find more applications that are not hosted on the main domain. So that's why you need the subdomain emulation tools, you need port scanning. This will help you find more applications on more. Currently, if I was to show this on Hackerone, we have this extension that will help us find other ports that are open in the target domain, and this is helpful since we are able to get more services or applications that are hosted on the same hackerone.com box or machine but are listening to a different port. So Hackerone currently is using the port 8443 for HTTPS and 80 maybe for the unencrypted way, but we also have these other ports and it's good to look into them. You might find something interesting. That's why we have these port scanning tools, and you can automate most of them depending on what you find. So after finding the subdomains, you want to look into each and every subdomain and look for maybe open ports. Screenshot. Then let's say you've just looked into and found your subdomains, you need to look into the preview of the subdomain or how the subdomain looks. This way you will be able to find the most interesting subdomains to start with. Maybe a login will be captured and you can use these tools to get the screenshot of the website. So this will help you make decision on which is the first application maybe you can target. You can look for technologies using these tools, and when you get the technologies, you are able to also vector or know how to target your web application based on the framework maybe they are using, the technology. You don't need to run payloads that are meant for a Java application, for an application that runs on JS or Python. That's why you need to find the technology and you use this using these tools. Content discovery. So you need, here we are using these tools to find more content, more endpoints, more directories, more files in our applications that may be allowed to the public and maybe hold sensitive information. So content discovery, you are looking for more content or more endpoints on the application. Links, so we know applications work with links, and to make them dynamic they need to fetch some links. They need to move from one application to another through redirect, and that's why we need to find these links that may hold sensitive information or important information in our bug bounty. So here it's where we need to find the JS JavaScript files, maybe look for endpoints in these JavaScript files or sensitive information that is leaked in these links. So parameters, so in parameters these tools will help you get the hidden parameters or more parameters that you may not have noticed, and the more you find these parameters, the more you get your way into the application, since some hidden parameters may not have good sanitization, and hence you're able to execute some XSS or SQL injection. So the more you do your Recon, the more broader and easier you find it to do these exploitations. So for fuzzing, it's where we fuzz or we drop payloads into a web application in an automated way, and depending on the server reaction we are able to determine if maybe a path exists or a payload is successful and such. So that's all about fuzzing and the tools. We have cloud security tools, with most of environments being cloud based. There is need to secure them, and there are security issues that arise with the cloud, and that's why we have these tools to help in that. And the list goes on. Directory traversal, these are now specific tools to find this security issue, where you can traverse through and find files. The same with file inclusion. You can include a file, a remote file or a local file, into the application using this vulnerability, and these tools will help you find this. GraphQL, in case you come across GraphQL, what you need to do is learn about these tools, how they work, and maybe you can automate them and also change them, or what we say, you don't have to invent the tool, just work on the tool, and maybe you can improve it to do what you intended to do or better. So race conditions, we have tools that can help you in that. Server side request forgery, also we have tools, and the list goes on of the tools that you can use to help or to automate your finding of vulnerabilities. So with these tools, be sure to be ready to get into bug bounty. So the first thing we need to do is to find a target, of course, and Hackerone is one platform that will allow you to legally and ethically hack targets. So all you need to do is to visit the Hackerone leaderboard, maybe look for maybe how you are performing, but for now we are going to look into the directory. So this is a public directory where anyone can jump in, look for a target and start hacking. That's the good thing, but you need to understand the scope and you need to read the rules of engagement. You don't just jump into it. So you just need to look for a target. In this case we can pick a random target here, and let's move this aside. All you need to do is visit the target's endpoint or dashboard. So this is public, we're not yet logged in, but Superbase, you'll get information about the target, in this case Superbase, what it does, and the more you learn about the target, the more you find it easier to find vulnerabilities, since you will know how to publicly look into this, and you'll learn about the target, what it does. The more you learn what it does, the more you learn the technicals and the business rules of attacking the target. So you'll have an overview of what they do and what they promise. Then you'll have some program rules. You'll have to read the program rules, the disclosure policy in case you come across a vulnerability, performing your research, what you need to attach to. So, and all this is to help you have a smooth hacking experience, where you just work on what is needed and how you need to work on it. So you can work on the source code, so they have provided some source code, and you can just get started with this. Visit their GitHub page. We have some pinned services, and this is their source code. Since this is open source, all you need to do is to clone, and we have tools that can help you with software analysis. So you can just Google that also, or use ChatGPT. So we have in the software static analysis tools. So these are all tools that you can start. Just learn how to launch them, how they work, and you can get started with looking into the source code of Supabase. So all you need to do is clone, maybe read some documentation on how it works, and through that you can run the static tools. Just learn how to install them and point them to the code base, and you get started. Also, you'll need to clone this on your local machine and open it with an IDE or a text editor like Visual Studio. Just learn how this works, the flow of execution, and in case you find anything, that's when you submit a report. Also, they have an API. You can go into the API, try now to look for vulnerabilities through into that domain. We have a domain, we have a URL, wildcard. So for the wildcard, this allows you to look for all applications that are the subdomains of this main domain. So anything that comes before database.dev is in scope in this case. And you also have need to be look out into the bounty. So currently these are ineligible. This means in case you report a vulnerability, no, you're not going to gain anything from it. So but at the end you're going to get the points, and you're going to be recognized at the end. So you have to find your target, understand the scope, then you're ready to move into the next step. So you could get started with the looking into the application itself. So let's launch our BAP suite in this case, but I have all the other tools, ZAP, which we can look into later, and Kaido. Awesome. So let's launch BAP suite. So these are proxy tools, as we said. So before jumping into Reconnaissance, you just need to have an understanding of the application that you're targeting. We can start a temporal project here for demo purposes. So we need to understand the scope. So in this case, let's pick our target. I can think of any target, or we pick Supabase as we had the short case with this. So there's this domain, supabase.com. What I like doing is launch my BAP suite. So we said BAP suite will act as a proxy, so we need to launch the inbuilt browser, but you could also connect a browser, but it comes with an browser that help us get started quickly. So we also need to add this to scope so that we only deal with our target. can allow seeing other, but we can hide also this from the target and also from the history. Just need to see what is in scope, that is Superbase. So this is the main domain or the main target, and we just use Burp Suite, and from here you can see Burp Suite already closed and found some more interesting subdomains and domains, related domains of Superbase, and what Superbase is interacting with, and you can see you have a JS minor extension that automatically also looked into this and closed into our JavaScript files and looked for interesting keyword looking for secrets or credentials. Also we have some email disclosed which can help you as you dig deeper, so it's good to keep note of this. Also subdomains were found by the JS miner, so it's a good tool, an interesting tool. So we already have some subdomains showing up. So you can see we already started our Recon, even though we haven't started the Recon tools. So Burp Suite is an amazing tool that will help you look into and you can look into this and be sure to find interesting stuff. So the same form, let's update on next. So we have some more subdomains and we can take note of this, always take notes. So you always take notes, and now we can open these subdomains with an extension here that will help us open all. So you can see we already started doing Recon, and all you need to note is for all these subdomains asking us to join the Discord, not for the moment. Okay, looks like we have so there's also this extension that gives you, whenever it comes across maybe a JSON web token, a cookie, or a interesting header, so it's something you can look into. So this shows you can find subdomains directly by just visiting the main domain, and you start finding interesting subdomains from the main domain. I need to close this since launching the number of tabs, then the beginner I also need to plug it in. So you see Truffle Hog has a I'm using Chrome extension that helps you find these APIs keys as you browse through your application. So it scans through. So there's this. Can migrate data from Postgres database to Heroku Super. So all these, we just found all these subdomains. By just browsing through BAP and using this extension. So Discord we have up. So that's an amazing extension JS. So let's close the tabs to our right. So we just started Recon. So there are two types of Recon now. We have the passive and the active. So passive is where we use tools like subdomain enumerations tools that will find the subdomains that have been recorded maybe in other platforms like the Google database, and we can find them through Google Dorking, DNS enumeration, the subdomain enumeration. So here we are not actively interacting with our target, we are passively getting information from different sources, and we can use these different tools: asset finder, subdomain finder, AMAS. But AMAS is a good tool for the attack surface area, to see the whole attack surface area of our target, and we can passively scan it by providing our domain. This was superbase.com, and we can automate this, remember that, or we can automate it, or we can run it as this. So DNS enumeration also, using DNS Recon tools, you are able to get more information. Active Reconnaissance, now it's where after you've found the subdomains, we actively now interact with the target to find maybe open ports, services, and ports, using tools like Nmap. And also you can look for vulnerabilities. After you've found the tools, you can look for directory brute forcing using GoBuster, using some word list that come with the Kali Linux tool. You can do automated scanning using the Nitro, Nessus, manual testing using SQL map. So all this you're doing Recon. And we said we are looking for more ports, since we have different services or application running on different ports. So the more we find these ports, the more we find more attack surface area. And we look into our tools that help us find these interesting common directories /admin. You might find yourself landing in an admin portal that is not authenticated. And I also try summarizing the steps that to help me keep into the steps. So you need to find the target, gather information about the target by looking into the subdomains, Google Dorking, DNS information, port scanning, you need to get into the top 10 OWASP vulnerabilities. So after you've found your subdomain, after you've done the subdomain enumeration, you'll end up with the subdomains and the live or the valid subdomains. So this is the amass command, and you see it gives you a good output of the subdomain in the CNAME record in case it's the CNAME, and this can go on looking for all attack surface area of Superbase. So after finding the target that you need, that's when you bring in, so you also need, I will emphasize on the need for documentation. So we just seen why we need a Recon, the tools we need to find more parameters. Pub Suite is a great tool for this, since it have this extension, the param miner, that will help you gather these parameters. We have FF, Aljun, all this will help you get more parameters, and they show you how to get these parameters here. So taking screenshot, we did see about why we need screenshot, and we can use a witness, Go witness, continuity discovery, getting more files like the backup files, sensitive Git repositories that help us get more, and we can automate this using tools like the Recon full FTW or the lazy Recon. So for a deep Recon, you need to have some mind maps, visual Recon. Then you need to document your step by step, which becomes easier, like finding the ASN discovery of a target. Just need to run these commands that you have pre-built, or have them in your cheat sheet. So this will make your work easier. Let me cancel this for now, but you can see we are also getting some IP net blocks. So here we are using nmap, and we are trying to get the ASN of the superbase.com. So ASN, what you need to do is just look into ASN. So these are, they are attached to a target or to a company. It's an autonomous system number. It's an autonomous system number. So if you have the ASN of a company, you can be able to get its IP addresses or assets. So in this case, we are trying to find for more assets, and you can use these tools or these steps to find for the ASN. Once you find the ASN, you are able to find more targets using the ASN, like on the Shodan. So if you have an ASN of a target, so Superbase seems they don't have an ASN. Let's try Microsoft. Not a get specified. Okay, how does it? Okay, let's see how to pass this target so it needs a valid IP. Let's see the IP of Microsoft has different IPs. C1 because it says request must be in the form an IP for address. Let's see what we get, but you can depend on another command. You can use also a mask to get the ASN APs if you have the ASN number. Let's try this, see if we can get the so nmap seems to be, so let's use Microsoft.com. So yeah, we get the AS, we have the AS name, the info, the IP, and the AS number. So with this we can use the shutdown. We can use the shutdown to look into this, and we can see organizations. Since top products, it's more Microsoft, since this ASN seems to be now connected to Microsoft Corporation, and you can jump into this and look for vulnerabilities and more attack surface area. So ASN discovery, you can use Tor for when you're doing fuzzing or active reconnaissance. You might need to hide your IP to avoid being blocked. You can use the power of Google Docs to look for interesting information. You can look for the admin and portal using this Google Docs. So whenever under the site Microsoft where there is an admin and portal, you are able to find interesting attack surface area. To get into this, you can collect the whois DNS enumeration. You can also try DNS zone transfer, and in case the target hasn't or doesn't have good measures, you may be able to transfer the domain, or you can get some sensitive information leaked in the process. So you need to retrieve the domain name servers using this command. Then you can test for the domain zone transfer using this command. You can also automate using DNS enum, which is a tool that will DNS enumeration. So this will try to automate the process, get the host addresses, the IP, the name servers, the mail servers. It will try zone transfer, and then it will try to brute force. So it's an amazing tool to use also to get more attack surface area, more recon. The more the tools, the more subdomains, the more the bounties. Always think it that way. There is Spiderfoot, which has a graphical interface that you can do more recon, that you can automate finding these targets. So you just need to launch it on the port 1234, and in this case we are given the wildcard to listen for public calls. So localhost 1234. So in this case we have our target scans. So under scans you can add a target, you can delete, export. So you can create a new scan name, then the scan target, which is your domain, then you can choose to footprint, investigate, passively scan, or you can run all scans, and this will start collecting all publicly information available about our target base, and it will start showing up here. Yes, we already have some domain names, email addresses, IP address, URLs, web servers. So it will be able to find more information, and the more you have information about a target, the more attack surface area you get. So under scans you can see all the running scan, and we can stop this. So that's Spiderfoot that will help you automate this. You have DNS map, help you get more info about our target subdomains, Shodan, and Recon NG. We have all this for you to help you in getting more recon, doing more recon. Cloud web scanners, so you need to have such a checklist to help you easily navigate as you hack. So after getting our target, after our deep recon, we will end up with active targets that now we need to get into, and that's when the top 10 OWASP come in. So this OWASP is an organization that helps secure the web by giving tools, information. They classify vulnerabilities depending on how severe they are and how common they are, and they basically guide security into the list in web application risk. So we have different web applications risk that now we need to get into. Just now we have our target in map, maybe we have Superbase. Now it's where we start looking into what we can access well not authenticated and what we can access well authenticated. Look for vulnerabilities that the developers might have left. Look for authentication errors, like we might be able to get into the dashboard without authentication. Try to host header injection by poisoning the reset password. Find for content that may be exposed, and that's where the web security vulnerabilities comes in. And not only do we rely on OWASP, we also have the BAP suite Academy. So they have amazing content on web security, and the more now you learn about these web securities, the more you are able to target our subdomains that we finally came with or have on the list. So you just need now to learn on how to get all these web application vulnerabilities. So in case you want to differentiate yourself from guys who just run tools, automation tools, and now we'll start looking into the server side, web side, and the client side topics. And you also have advanced topics. The more you learn about this, do this learning paths they have and the labs they have, be sure you will be able to spot these web vulnerabilities easily, and bounties now will be on your way. So I tried to make this as a guide on how and why we need to do, but always remember, learn. It's all about learning. It's all about finding new ways, and always remember you're dealing with web applications. So web applications, we interact them using the browser, but we need to change this request. So as you jump into the OWASP, or as you now try hacking the application, remember always from your browser we have the front-end application that will send requests to the server in the backend, and all the proxy does is to intercept this. And the reason we intercept is for us to change the request and see the behavior of the server on the browser. So depending on the behavior, we are able to continue our attack. So given in this case, like this is a login or an authentication, and this says that for you to access the dashboard, you need to be authenticated for the application to determine what to show you. But using the proxy, we can be able to try and circumvent some restrictions and maybe access other people dashboard. All this is possible using the BAP suite proxy and the different proxies that we have. So the proxy, all you need to do is to intercept this request, and before they get to the server, you are able to change them. So once you click, this is the front end part, always remember that, and you can open the developers tools to help you learn more about the application. So all you need to do, we had this intercept on. Let's try that again. So you can see we even have a capture challenge popping up, and you can try to hack around that also. So you see we are able to intercept these requests as they come from the browser to the server, and we are able to see the response by intercepting the response of the different requests. On forward, we are able to see the response, and we can change also the response before it gets back to the server, to the browser, and that's how we are able to hack around using the proxy tool. So it's an amazing tool, and always remember, good vulnerabilities won't be found by just doing the automation or the easy stuff. With the advent of technology, we have more and more surface areas to cover before we find these bugs, so we just need to dig deeper and understand the application. So that's it for this video. I'll be having an upcoming membership on YouTube, so be sure to be part of it for support and for learning more and better content. Also remember, the more we like, the more we subscribe, the more we are able to do this. I'll be looking into getting into live hacking now, where we look into the real vulnerabilities, since we've been doing on Recon, but we need to look into these vulnerabilities now, and after getting the target, just need to find your way now and exploit a vulnerability or a security issue that the developer didn't notice. So thank you guys for staying tuned, and be tuned for more.